This is Judge Joe Brown, and you're watching We All Be News TV, the
News-free Dixie.
News-free Dixie for the 21st century.
Good afternoon, boys and girls, scholars and laymen. Welcome to another wonderful edutainment, infotainment edition of The Art of Aesthetics. Now I want to address something that happened recently. You know, people were mad that Donald Trump was invited. The President of the United States was invited to be the keynote speaker at the opening of the Mississippi Civil Rights Museum. People were very mad, particularly those black liberals, as well as, you know, certain black Congress people like Congressman Benny Thompson, who represents Mississippi in Congress, and also the legendary Congressman John Lewis, who is a very much an active participant in the 1960s civil rights movement, leader of SNCC, worked with Dr. King on the front lines, took a couple of ass whoopings for us all. So never no disrespect on that from Congressman Lewis. But also Derrick Johnson, who used to be the president of the Mississippi State in AACP. Now he's the president over the national leadership. Donald Trump was invited by Mississippi Governor Phil Bryant to be the keynote speaker. President Trump accepted. People believe that President Trump is a white supremacist, he's a racist, that he hates black people, that he hates Mexicans, that he hates anybody but white Americans who voted for him. I don't know what's in the man's heart, but what I do know is a couple of things. Like I said, black people are very emotional people, but we need to start treating our politics like the Vatican treats religion. Once again, let me repeat, we need to start treating our politics like the Vatican treats religion. It's a power grab. It's about access. Donald Trump, as the sitting president of the United States, has a right to have been there. He had a right to be there because he's the president of the United States, whether we in the public square like it or not. He was voted in by the people and based on the rules. Now people will say Hillary had more popular votes, but he was voted in based on their rules. Not our rule, not Ja rule, but their rules. And if you, who are there, figure it out. But I want to say this too. Donald Trump, y'all mad at him. And the thing about it is, why not be mad at Mississippi Governor Phil Bryant for inviting him? For inviting Donald Trump. Now, people say that Donald Trump's father was a Klansman. Matter of fact, there's an article from the New York Times back in June, I believe, 1927, that mentioned a Fred Trump being arrested in Queens by police officers after fighting them during a Klan rally. You know, Fred Trump, Donald Trump's from Queens. His daddy name was Fred Trump. You figure it out. I don't know if it's true or not. Can you believe everything you read in the papers? Just like the National Enquirer and Donald Trump said that Ted Cruz's father was involved in the JFK assassination. Now there's a photo of a guy named Raffaello Cruz, whatever, Raffaello, that looks kind of like Ted Cruz's father as a young man next to Lee Harvey Oswald in New Orleans, maybe some months before the Kennedy assassination. So there's a photo of a guy next to Lee Harvey Oswald that Lee Harvey Oswald called Raffaello, that looks like Ted Cruz's father, Rafael Cruz. It is what it is, folks. I mean, I got some more videos I'm talking about my thoughts about the Kennedy assassination. I'm also going to review Dr. Williams Pepper book, The Plots to Kill King. And you don't want to miss that. But getting back to this. Roy Bryant, nobody was mad at me. Roy Bryant, I mean Phil Bryant, the governor of Mississippi. I didn't hear too many people being mad at him about inviting Trump. When Trump got off the plane, he was greeted by Governor Bryant and also by Charles Evers, who is the brother of the late, great Medgar Evers. He's the older brother of Medgar Evers. And Charles Evers is a civil rights icon, a civil rights trailblazer in his own right, but he is very controversial among certain circles because he is a proud black Republican and he's a Trump supporter. So he had kind words for Donald Trump after he got off Air Force One. Donald Trump made mention of that, and also the speech wasn't bad. You know, he stayed on script or whatever, but it was a very well done speech. I like the fact he gave honor to Medgar Evers, that he acknowledged his widow, Sister Marilee Evers, and he acknowledged Medgar Evers' brothers giving him a warm greeting. I think that means a lot to somebody like Charles Evers. I look forward to having Charles Evers back on the show to talk about meeting Donald Trump and also his other thoughts about other things going on. I'm sure he's going to piss a lot of you off, and it is what it is, because my platform was created, or rather the We All Be platform was created to give a place for people with unique points of views to share their points of views with the world. I don't really care how people feel about what Charles Evers might say, or what a Judge Joe Brown might say, or what a Dick Gregory used to say, or how they said it. Okay, their expression, their point of view. Just because I allow people to utilize this platform does not always mean that I agree with what they are saying. But my job is to provide a space that people can freely express themselves, you know, without any consequences or repercussions for me. I can't control what other people do or say or might feel, but this is a safe space for freedom of expression. This is what We All Be is about. It's about us being allowed to be us, because we all be in it to win it. But Phil Bryant is interesting. He is the governor of Mississippi. He did help, you know, secure the funding for the building of the Mississippi Civil Rights Museum, and also the Mississippi History Museum, or whatever that museum is, that's covered 15,000 years of human history, that opened on the same day as the Civil Rights Museum. This year marks the bicentennial of the state known as Mississippi being born. So this was a special occasion. And I know the mayor of Jackson, Chokwe, and some other people in the Jackson community, they boycotted going to the museum or meeting with the president, and they're going to have their own thing, or they did their own thing. And that's great, because it's all about freedom of expression. You have the right to express yourself. Everybody do. Freedom of speech guaranteed, First Amendment right, or should be, or was a First Amendment right guaranteed. That's another story. But Phil Bryant is interesting to me. His uncle, allegedly, is Roy Bryant. Why should we be interested in who his uncle was? Roy Bryant was the husband, the former husband of Carolyn Bryant. Carolyn Bryant was the woman who accused Emmett Till of sexually harassing her at the store, which led to her husband along with his half-brother, J.W. Malcolm, and a handful of Negroes, killing, lynching Emmett Till. Now, should Phil Bryant be held accountable for what his uncle done? His uncle helped start the American Civil Rights Movement. When Rosa Parks was sitting on the bus and refused to move, she said she was thinking about Emmett Till and that horrible disfigured face of that once handsome young man in the black press. So Phil Bryant, he had to do what he had to do in order to secure the funding for that Mississippi Civil Rights Museum. His family owe black people. White America owe black people. And we need more than just a damn museum. The museum costs $90 million, but you should have got victims of white terrorism, state-sponsored white terrorism by the Mississippi government. You know, the Mississippi Sovereignty Commission was a government entity. There's a documentary called Spies of Mississippi, where the Mississippi Sovereignty Commission used black folks and other people to spy on the black freedom movement in Mississippi. You had black informants and spies working for the state government to suppress and repress the black vote and black civil and human rights. So yeah, the state of Mississippi owed black folks a museum, but they also owe black folks reparations. They also owe black folks reparations. Mississippi got the largest numbers of black people of any state. But a lot of black folks were ran out of Mississippi. They left behind businesses, land that they own, and family. If Mississippi did not sponsor white terrorism, I have no doubt that Mississippi would have had several more black senators and even a black governor or two. But that was happened. So people got this emotional response to Trump, but they're not looking at the bigger picture. The bigger picture is that Donald Trump ain't your problem. Mississippi has always endorsed white, so-called, I call it white inferiority. Y'all call it white supremacy. I'm calling it white inferiority. They always endorse institutionalized white inferiority. Back in 1980, Ronald Reagan made his speech at the Neshoba County Fair. Neshoba County, Mississippi, Philadelphia, Mississippi, is where they killed those 3 civil rights workers. Michael Swerner, James Chaney, and Andrew Goodman was killed on Father's Day by the Klan, by the Sheriff Department of Neshoba County, by the state of Mississippi. It was a state-sponsored killing of these 3 civil rights workers who was buried in an earthen dam, and their bodies exhumed from that earthen dam August 4th, 1964. August 4th is the birthday of Barack Obama, but also Dick Gregory had a hand in finding the remains of those 3 civil rights workers. He put up the reward money. The FBI matched his reward money he put up with the help of Hugh Hefner, and the rest is history. But getting back, that Ronald Reagan was the Republican nominee for the United States president back in 1980, and he made a very powerful speech that he endorsed state rights. And like his campaign strategist, Lee Atwater, who was also Bush 41's brain and helped him get elected, he said back in the 54, you could use nigger, 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 nigger. But then years later, you had to get more sophisticated. Instead of saying nigger, 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 you said state rights, state rights, state rights. And Ronald Reagan was a pioneering white folks whisperer. Just like Donald Trump is a white folks whisperer. They say one thing to us, but it means another thing to their base. Just like they accuse black folks of speaking in code like Obama. People say, Obama is saying stuff between the lines to the black people. He's saying different stuff. He's saying this, but he's actually saying that. See, the thing about it is not what you say or what you read, is what you hear for yourself, is what they don't say, right? Or it's how they say it. It ain't what you do, it's the way that you do it. It ain't what you do, it's the way that you do it. So, Like I said, people had this emotional response to Donald Trump. A lot of black folks, I can't stand Trump. Blah, blah, blah. Look, man, Donald Trump ain't that old. The United States is older than Donald Trump. White inferiority is older than Donald Trump. Donald Trump ain't the ultimate enemy. He is a symbol of the system. He is just a symbol of the system. He is the symptom of the illness. That's all. So, should we get mad at Phil Bryant? He was a little baby when his uncle killed Emmett Till. Is it his fault that his uncle killed Emmett Till and started the American Civil Rights Movement? Is it Donald Trump's fault if his father was an alleged member of the KKK? Based on what we read in this New York Times article from the 20s? I don't know. Are we responsible for the sins of our fathers? Were the Kennedys responsible for the sin of their father? So, I mean, you ask all these questions, but I just want people to start thinking things differently. In their own way. Find your own way to process this stuff. Dick Gregory was very good at finding ways to process information and spit it out in his image. In terms of, like, he was good at taking what people threw out and threw at him, and he was able to turn it back and put his stamp on it. All of us got the ability to take things in, to analyze it, to blow it up, put it together back again, and spit it back out. What I'm saying is, the people of Mississippi elected a man whose uncle killed Emmett Till. And y'all talking about Donald Trump. I'm not knocking Phil Bryant. I don't know him. It's like he's a decent guy. You know, I don't know. But what I'm saying is, this at one point was on Wikipedia. I don't know if they changed it or not, but I screenshot it. They said Phil Bryant, his uncle was Roy Bryant, the guy who killed Emmett Till, who helped kill Emmett Till. And I want to close this by saying, Roy Bryant did an interview with the Clarion Ledger, that's the big time newspaper down in Jackson, Mississippi, on the 30th anniversary of the Emmett Till thing. What people don't know is that after the trial, the Bryant and his brother J.W. Malum, they did an interview with William Bradford Huey for Look magazine, where they confessed for a large sum of money that they killed Emmett Till. By them bragging about it, it turned them off. The white communities just like said, forget y'all, get the hell out of here. Black folks stopped going to the Bryant grocery store. They ended up losing their land and property. They had to move. So he came back some years later. His brother died of cancer, I believe. J.W. Malum died of cancer, I believe, in 1980. But Roy Bryant came back to the Delta and had a grocery store again. And around the 30th anniversary, the national news media found him and would try to do interviews with him, and he would refuse interviews. But he told his reporter something that was very interesting. He said, I'm paraphrasing it, because you can find this article online. This 1985 article with Roy Bryant from the Clarion Ledger. That's another thing. People, stop doing your own homework. I'm dropping this stuff out here. People will email and call you and say, where you get this information from? I'm saying y'all can find out what happened to Rihanna and Beyonce and Jay-Z. Use that search engine to find out this information. I'm giving you leads and clues. Go out there, fish. But Roy Bryant, to paraphrase him, he said, look, the black folks of today are not afraid like they were back then. But the thing about it is they don't know. If they knew who I was, they would kill me. The fact that he was able to go back to the Delta some years later and the black folks were patronizing his store because he still dependent on the black dollar to survive. Like he did back in 1950s. He was dependent upon the black dollar. So this killer Emmett Till was still dependent upon black folks to have a business. But yet the black folks were not even aware that this guy killed Emmett Till. And they still supported his store. They were not even, and they supported his store. And everybody, this is like what's going on today. Everybody comes to the black community to exploit us, or the black neighborhood, whatever you want to call it. Well, where a lot of black folks live. Everybody come here. They come over to this country and they come here. And they come to places where black folks live to exploit black folks. Everybody knows that the exploitation of black folks is the key to generational wealth in this country. But black people, Once again, everybody knows that the key to generational wealth in this country is the exploitation of black people. Whether it be prison for profit, whether it be cotton, whether it be anything. We the largest consumers. We consume everything. We the largest consumers, but we don't own nothing. Oprah don't even own. You know what I'm saying? We don't own anything. So think about that. Because I want my people to start thinking about politics the way the Vatican approach religion. Then start strategizing and organizing, because the only way that we get ahead in this system is through a organized group action. And once again, I'm not interested in trying to work with all so-called black people. I'm not interested in working with, look, people talking about color. They color struck. White folks color struck, black folks color struck. It's not about color, it is about character. It really is. John Brown wasn't so-called black. You know, William O'Neal, the guy that put that stuff in Fred Hampton's last meal that he fixed, the guy that was killed by the police, he was a black man. Think about it. The guy who helped do in Fred Hampton Sr. was a black man. The guy that tried to help liberate black folks and lost several of his sons, John Brown, was a white man. So I'm not gonna get into all that stuff. And another thing, Dick Gregory's gone. Dick Gregory has went on to the next matrix. He has left the building, and he's not coming back. But he is. But the thing about it is, he's not coming back, but he never left. Dick Gregory had enough sense to leave all these interviews, videos, everything. He knew that he had a day that he was going to leave this planet. And the thing about it was, he left all this so he could train people how to think. So, people send me email, who's the next Dick Gregory? I'll talk about this in another video, but I think it's interesting. Why don't you be the next Dick Gregory? Why don't you be the next you? Don't worry about being the next Dick Gregory, be the next you. And for the people who said, well, Dick Gregory, what are you going to do without Dick Gregory? I'm going to be me. I got a lot to offer. We did a lot this year. I just don't do videos, man. I do work in the community. I do real work in the community. I organize events and functions and stuff like that. About to start writing books. I wrote a book called James Reese Europe Jazz Lieutenant that came out in 2005. I self-published and illustrated and made a Smithsonian Institute list for young kids and adults. A lot of times I do stuff, man, I'm in the wilderness, man. People say they want to help, but people don't really want to help. They just want to help themselves. And I do the best I can to maintain what I can maintain. And I'm not interested in meeting new people a lot of times. I'm more interested in meeting useful people. And there are ways to support We All Be. People say, well, how can I support? Well, you could donate. Donate some money, man. Donate make a Christmas gift, a Hanukkah gift, a Kwanzaa gift, why don't you? If you have benefited at all from my ministry, what I have done over these years, and it has helped you tremendously, or helped you a little bit, or you were able to help people with the information and the products I was able to produce, give back. You'll get it back. Give back, because I invest in y'all, invest in us, invest in We All Be. That's all I'm saying. So you can make a one-time donation at PayPal. You can be a patron on Patreon, our patreon.com/We All Be. That's our page. But you can buy some products. I sell shirts, y'all. Judge O'Brien, I got some shirts on sale. Artwork that I do, 5 for $50 deal. Get 5 prints for $50. Can't beat that. But yeah, I'm posting all this information. A lot of people take the information. A lot of times people don't give me credit for it. But like Dick Gregory said, sometimes when the universe pick you, it doesn't leave any fingerprints. Well, with that said, thank you all for listening. If you like the words from Mr. Hurd, please spread the word. Please get people to subscribe to this channel, because we got a lot of great things in store for you all. And know this, in the words of Duke Ellington, we love you madly. Keep on producing and pushing. Peace.